Hey, 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 everybody. Let me throw some applause out there. Welcome to the Unfiltered Show where we talk about Agile, Scrum, entrepreneurship. And newly on the list is always going to be team effectiveness. We're going to talk about VUCA environments. We're going to talk about leadership performance, all these different things because it's a part of the conversation that we need to have. Right. So welcome, everybody. While we doing that, at least while you're getting in the room, come on in, get yourself comfortable. We got a topic we're gonna talk about, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn on the light. I'm gonna turn on another light because I want to make sure you can see all of my face, not dark on one side. Right. So it is just an amazing thing. Oh man. So kind of where we're at here is today's topic is going to be about reskilling your team in the AI era. That's what I'm talking about. I think we got a pretty good topic here. We got some good stuff to kind of run through. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'll tell you what's going on with me in just a second. I want to go ahead and make sure that I jump over on LinkedIn and make sure I can represent my people over there because they always show up for me. So let me pull them in real quick to make sure we're good to go. And then, we'll get started into getting into our stuff here, getting into our topic. So it's going to be a really, really, really good and amazing time. So once again, I will always say to you, if you're here, welcome. We do record this over on YouTube, and where the conversation really happens at is over on YouTube. So I would say to you, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. And we always do this on LinkedIn as well. Just kind of show up in both places because that's where you all are at, right? So I want to make sure we continue doing that. Now, that being said, let me see. I got to make it so it's a little bit easier for me to see some of this stuff because I'm over here moving stuff around and going through about 4 or 5 different screens to get from one place to the next. I'm like, this is ridiculous, is what I'm thinking to myself. But I'll make sure I move a couple things closer together so I can manage this a little bit easier and then really just have the real kind of conversations with you that we need to have, which is just a beautiful thing. So, as usual, if you're around, go ahead and say hi in the comments. Share this with somebody you care about and love because we're about to go through some great information today. So, hopefully, you are absolutely ready for that because I am. So now what's going on with me, right? Our topic obviously is reskilling your team in an AI era. I think it's absolutely important. It's just a topic I was thinking, it's a topic that's impacting me right now, right? And I think that's a good thing for us to start having these kind of conversations because I think we are having those kind of issues. But let's talk about what's going on, right? A couple things just to let you all know. Well, one, just so you know, I kind of passed my proposal oral defense, so I've kind of moved on into the final study of my dissertation. So that was a big step. So I'm kind of in wait mode right now a little bit as we go through the ethics process before they'll allow me to move forward with data collection. So some of you belong to certain groups where I may need your opinions about team coaching. Just throwing it out there, right? Just throwing it out there, right? And I think you'll be very interested in the study, so you'll see that pop up in a few places once I get permission to move forward. But that's been probably the biggest thing that happened, in the past week or so, right? So just an FYI that kind of stuff is coming, so just to let you know. And then a couple other things you're probably going to see that's going to happen. Um, I'm going to go ahead and do a in demand Scrum Master coaching program, right? I'm over here getting some of those final touches together. I'm probably going to offer it to alumni Bearded Eagle first as I start moving toward eight typical, but in-demand Scrum Master. I'm talking about people that want to really master the craft, right? And I have some really good stuff, and I'm going to throw some AI stuff into that. But I just want to give you all just a quick idea. I'll give you a preview of it later, but uh, 3 to 6 months coaching. Um, we'll get a group together, we'll get some weekly stuff happening or bi-weekly stuff happening. And then there will be lots of information, lots of information, lots of information. So if you want to be that in-demand Scrum Master, there's more to come on that. Let me know if I sound like I'm crazy when I say that. But again, an in-demand Scrum Master, if that's what you want to be, especially as your career moves forward, and making sure that you remain that in-demand person is kind of what I will be definitely focusing on. So it's just really a good thing. I actually love it. So that being said, let's see what else is going on. Hopefully you all are fine. Let me say hi to a couple people that said hi to me. Patrick, as usual, how you doing, brother? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. As you can see, I hope you are just as good, just as an amazing like you usually are, brother. So that's a good thing. Yusuf, how's it going? Hopefully you're doing amazing as well. I'm trying to be like all of you all one day, right? Just trying to be like all of you all one day is what I'm doing, right? All right, so I think we should probably get into the topic. I think we should probably get into the topic. Like I'm really, really interested in it, but let's really get into the topic. Let me go double check my LinkedIn folks real quick, and then we'll jump right into it, y'all, for real. It's gonna be fun. All right, so let's jump into the topic. Reskilling your team in the AI era. So here's the deal. Let me move a couple things. All right, y'all. Man. So let me guess. You've probably sat in meetings where AI was discussed, and you could feel one or two things in the room. A quiet anxiety about being replaced is what some people actually feel, or this palatable confusion about where to even start when it comes to AI. It's a tension playing out in boardrooms and break rooms every place. Pick them user groups, all these places, those conversations are occurring. But what if both of those feelings are based on the wrong premise, right? For the last few years, the conversation about AI has been dominated by the tech, the technology, right? The models, the actual data itself, the dizzying speed that is all happening, right? But the real story is simple. The one that will define the winners and losers of the next decade isn't the actual machines. It isn't them at all, right? It's all about the people who use them, right? And if you're not one of those people that's looking toward that and your team isn't, it's going to be very interesting for you and everyone else that's associated with you. So, welcome to the Unfiltered Show, right? Over the next few minutes, we're going to talk about reskilling, right? We're going to give you um, a practical, human first kind of verbal playbook to transform your team from fearing AI to leading with it. My objective here is really simple. To shift your focus from the threat of automation to the opportunity of actually elevating, right? Um, let's get something right first. Let's get to the heart of the matter, right? Um, Coaches everywhere, even leaders, feel a sense of urgency. In fact, 87% of executives say that they already see a skills gap in their organizations, right? You probably see it too. And the problem is, most aren't sure which skills will still matter soon, just in a few years. This isn't like previous tech shifts. I mean, the internet changed how we access information. AI is changing how we think, which is very different. It's kind of crazy to be honest with you, right? Changing how we think. This creates a certain tension that you can probably feel in your hallways and the place where you talk to people. So let's kind of break it down. From the executive suite, the fear is strategic. If we don't adapt, we'll lose our competitive edge. We'll be outmaneuvered by the nimble companies. We might go by way of Blockbuster, right? But for your team members on the ground, the fear is really personal, right? Is my experience still valuable? Am I going to be replaced by an algorithm? I feel like I have become an expert overnight and I don't even know where to begin, right? This is where we need a critical reframe, right? We need to start rethinking about this thing, right? The answer isn't to turn everyone into data scientists. The real gap isn't in coding. That's not what it's all about. Prompt engineering is not going to save everybody. It's about human fluency in the machine accelerated world. It's the ability to collaborate with powerful tools in a way that amplifies our uniquely human talents. See, that is the gap right there that we absolutely need to close. See, this brings every leader to a defining choice. When you train your people to compete with AI, to be faster, more efficient, look, man, that is a race your team will lose. Just they will lose. Attempting to out efficient a machine is the recipe for disaster, burnout, failure. Or will you train them to collaborate with it, right? Will you accept that AI can handle the first draft, right? The initial analysis, the data crunching, you can liberate your team to do the work they were truly hired to do, to think, to strategize, to empathize, to create. Let's paint a more detailed picture, thinking about projects and how they kick off, right? See, the old way, your team spends the first 45 minutes of a meeting presenting slides. The real discussion doesn't start to happen until everyone's really tired and exhausted. The new way, the collaborative way, the meeting invite, right, it goes out with an AI generated brief attached to it. The AI has already summarized the data, identified key trends, and even flagged potential risk. You see that? The meeting starts with the assumption that everyone is already informed. The first question isn't what does the data say? It's what is this data not telling us? It's what assumptions has the AI made that we should challenge? See, your team's energy is now focused on validation and strategy. That's where you want to use that mind, right? They're not reporting on the past, they are architecting the future. See, that's fundamentally more valuable, a more valuable use of your team's time, everybody's time. Okay. So the question becomes, so how do you get there? See, it starts with being intentional about the skills you build. And that's every single one of us here, right? See, I've organized them in a way that there's four essential domains here. This becomes your guide to future proofing your team. First, number one, there's cognitive agility, right? Cognitive agility, what is it? This is the art of mental flexibility, the ability to interpret, question, and add crucial business context to the AI generated information. Critical thinking, right? What it is not, it isn't just being smart. It isn't being wise enough to know when logically correct answers is strategically wrong, right? It's to spot it, it's to see it. When team members say the AI sales projections are optimistic, right? It's not about factoring in the new competitor. We need to adjust. That's what they might say, right? See, your first step in your next team meeting is to present AI recommendations and make the entire goal of the meeting to poke holes in it, to call it a strategic stress test. Second is EQ, emotional intelligence. What is it? If you haven't heard about this, I'm surprised, right? It's the ability to perceive, influence, and connect with others in a way that helps build trust. That's emotionally connect with them, right? What it is not, it isn't about being nice. It isn't about being perceptive or being able to navigate complex human dynamics that AI can't understand. I get all that stuff, right? What you want to be able to do is you want to spot certain things. You want to see when a manager senses burnout for a team member over Zoom without saying a word. That's what you want to see, right? So your first step here is to actively practice perceptive talking before the next one-on-one. Take 2 minutes to write down what is the biggest challenge this person is facing and what is their primary goal so you can support them in getting there, right? The third thing is we have creative adaptability. Adaptability is the name of the game. What is it? It's using AI as a launch pad, right? For true innovation, not just a source of imitation, right? What it is not is just accepting the first idea that AI gives you. It is not about the messy human process of iteration and experimentation. How to spot it, right? It's the team, it's in the way the team uses AI to design something, but it applies to human understanding of the community to create space that people love in collaboration with AI. So your first step is to give your team a safe place to fail. You should know that every single agilist, right? You want to generate solutions to small problems. You want explicit goal of creating something that AI couldn't have come up with on its own. That's what you want. The fourth thing is AI literacy and prompt fluency. What is it? This is a foundational skill. It's knowing how to ask the right questions to get precise, actionable results from the tools that you're using, right? These AI tools. What it is not learning to code. It is not learning how to communicate with the machine, right? Here's how you'll see it, right? When an employer moves from simple prompts like write a marketing email to an expert prompt, the difference in output is going to be day and night, right? You got to learn how to do that. So the next thing you should do this week, if you can, is have every person on your team take one routine task and try to get an AI to do it 3 times, right? Each radically different prompt, then have them share the actual prompt that worked the best and why. See, the thing is this, right? The information I'm giving you right now is absolutely useless if you don't apply it, right? One-on-one workshops don't work as well anymore. You want to embed these 4 domains into your team. You want to weave it into your culture. See, the best companies are doing, 4 things right now. The first thing is they are micro learning, right? You see this all over the place today. They know that learning is a habit, not an event. They integrate tool tips. They prompt weekly challenges. They make learning small, a consistent part of the job. The second thing, the second thing is really simple. They build cross-functional labs. They get people from marketing, engineering, finance, in a virtual room and solve a problem. They take things and break down those silos. They foster holistic problem solving. And three is they champion growth paths, right? Not threat narratives, right? The language they use actually matters. The growth narrative is like this tool will free you from this particular repetitive task. And so then you can focus on the most strategic work that excites you, the reason why you're there, right? The one is going to inspire you. And finally, they celebrate small failures. They create psychological safety. When a team tries a new AI workflow and it doesn't work, they're not beat down. They don't see it as a failure. They see it as valuable data. What not to do next time, right? They celebrate that learning. So here's the deal. One of the things I've covered with you here is that challenge, the choice, right? The playbook itself, the culture shift, right? All these things are important for us to move forward with. And you have that framework. I've kind of put it in your hands. Now, the time is to not just settle, right? Um, there's something that I really want you to do. For you, the coach, the leader that's listening, this week, I challenge you to do 2 things. One, find one conversation about AI that is framed around threat and deliberately reframe it toward growth, toward opportunity. Do that for that team. It will do wonders, right? Second, just pick one of the first steps that I talked about earlier, right? Rewind this video, look at it again and again, introduce it to your team, right? And for every individual on your team, share that message. Don't just Learn to use a tool, learn to think in partnership with it, learn to collaborate with it. I say that to you because the literature actually shows that we as humans don't trust AI by itself. We as humans trust humans first. And then the next thing we trust, far and above AI by itself, is the human AI collaboration, where a human has touch points with that AI, right? We trust that more. We see company after company after company being sued right now. Workday has a lawsuit going on about hiring, not hiring people that look like me, right? Because of something that's in their algorithm, right? And so I actually went out and I looked at a job and noticed it was Workday. And you know what I did? Closed it because I was running until I closed it because I said, "Oh, that's Workday. Yeah, I ain't gonna work out for me, right?" So the thing is that we trust that human AI collaboration more than AI by itself, and you got to know that, and you got to build toward that future of AI being a part of the augmentation of what we do, right? With AI being a part of the augmentation of what we do, because we are already in, is what I would say, the AI augmented era. The augmented era is better framed, right? To where we will utilize things to augment who we are. I mean, if I could I remember the Bionic Man back in the day, right? Some of y'all know what I'm talking about when I say the Bionic Man, right? And so it's one of those things where this is really important and we need to take steps in that direction. So your value isn't in what you know today. It's in your ability to actually learn, to adapt, to create tomorrow. And so, in this AI era, the most irreplaceable skill you can possess is the skill of learning itself, right? And the thing that I really want you to do is I want you to go out there and build the future that you want to build in collaboration with these tools, not in spite of these tools, right? The more you can do that, the best way that we phrase it up on a show that I have called The Future of Project Excellence, we phrase it up that way when we had the mayor of AI here from Dallas, Dan Sinowat, as a guest on the show. We phrase it up a simple way. It's not AI is going to replace you. It is the people with AI skills that are going to replace you. Just understand the statement. It is the people that know how to collaborate with AI that is going to replace you. And if your team doesn't know how to collaborate with AI, your team will not be able to compete in the future. So, if you want to build that future that you really want, and teams are the fundamental unit of delivering things inside of organizations, then you got to position teams to be able to do exactly that. So we can build a future and build the future that you're looking forward to us building. Now, that being said, I think I've talked enough on that. I want to make sure I leave a significant amount of time for you all to ask any questions that you may have. So, if you have questions, the way we rock on this show is really very simple. You could talk about the questions related to the topic itself. I'm taking those questions, and I'm also taking questions that you personally have about Scrum, Agile entrepreneurship, this AI stuff. I'm going to say team coaching, learning agility, resilience, whatever you got questions about, I'm here to answer those questions for you. The way we kind of operate is one of two ways. Um, you're welcome to join us on the show, join us live, right? Where you'll be right on the show with me, right to the side. You'll be here or you'll be here. I don't know exactly where you'll be, but you'll be one of the two places, right? And I'll provide the link to everyone so then you can decide to join if you want to. And then the other way is to just drop your information in the comments, right? Drop your information in the comments, right? Drop your questions in the comments is what I should say. So what you're going to see right now is you're going to see a link that is being dropped. I'm dropping that link in two locations. I'm going to drop it on LinkedIn and I'm going to drop it on our show here. Now, look, if you love watching a rerun on this, don't hit this link at that point, right? Don't hit the link if it's that the case, right? You watching this after the live because the link is not going to work, right? I'm gonna shut it down. That's what I'm gonna do. Shut it down. But anyway, so I throw the link out there just in case you have any questions. This topic is one of those ones that's a little bit near and dear to my heart because that is I'm dealing with definitely talking about teams in terms of the dissertation. Um, and then you add to it, it's about topics that I love. And this is one topic right here that I could not add to it. I really, really wanted to add to my dissertation a component related to artificial intelligence. Um, but I decided against that. Things are changing so fast. I'm still learning and growing. And I wanted to focus on that. And I feel like it'll be outdated in a year or two, right? So I said, let me focus on some core things that I love. But I definitely was thinking about how to incorporate this with teams. My only problem is that I haven't seen a lot of teams that's using AI. I just haven't seen a ton of them. I go to conferences and see them, right? Hear about them in ways, right? Talk to people that are on teams that actually have AI components related to them, but not really, me seeing the everyday workings of teams at this point, utilizing AI. I know I will have more opportunities like that. I just haven't, at this point, had a lot of them because a lot of people's bosses, are frowning upon it, right? I have a family member who, had people who got released from the job because they used AI and just let me type something and let me just turn it in. And lots of stuff in there was wrong. And so they ended up getting let go. So you're gonna have cases like that. There's no question, right? People are gonna abuse it to some degree and use it to take advantage of what they can do with the job. And that's not what we're trying to do here. That's not what we're talking about. We're really talking about finding ways to make this thing work in ways for you that make sense, right? That is really truly a collaboration with AI, which is really, really important in terms of how we do things, how we move forward, and pretty much everything else. Everything else, right? So I'll say this to you. You're here, right? You may have been here for the past 20 minutes. If you like what we're talking about, make sure you subscribe to the show, one. Two, make sure you like. Make sure you share it with someone, right? I definitely need to say that more earlier in our little broadcast here, but tell me in the chat. What do you think was one of the number one things that we talked about here? Or do you have other suggestions on how to skill your team up in this AI era, right? What do you think some of those best practices are? If you have any that you have thought of or have tried, do me a favor, throw those in the comments, throw those in the chat. I would love to see them because the next time I do this, then I can I can use your tips as well, right? I'll give you some credit, man. I give you some credit where credit is due. But it just turns into, nothing but greatness. So I'm like, this is good. This is good. This is pluses. I like it. I love it. I always like it and love it. I'm not changing anytime soon. So we are definitely great as we can be, right? Or at least I'm trying to be as great as I can be, you know. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Let's see. So yeah, so I invited people from my class today. I got a CSM class today, so I always invite the CSM folks in, and then sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. They already done see me 4 hours, so they be like, "Look, man, I don't want to see you anymore, man. I seen you more than enough today. Look, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear your voice. I don't want none of that stuff." I just be like, "Eh, I like you still, even though you don't like me today. I like you. I like you." This is what it is. All right, so y'all tell me what's going on. What's going on with you? What's going on? Anybody got any challenges out there that they want to talk about? Well, Patrick always gives me some good comments, so I'm going to throw Patrick's comment up here and let's kind of read this together, right? The pace at which AI is eroding functions of Scrum Master appears to be catching the industry off guard. I would agree. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Um, how does the role evolve to catch up with the AI advances and remain relevant? You know, Patrick, that's the interesting thing, right? One of the things and I've been thinking about this heavy, man. I, I, I was going to have the program that I'm coming up with will have elements of making sure that Scrum Masters remain in demand. in demand in this AI era, right? I really do believe, and I think you know this is true, Patrick, that there's a lot of scrum masters out here that believe that setting up meetings and attending meetings for the past 6 months, 2 years, 5 years is all they need to do, right? I remember, man, and this was really recent, right? This was really recent. I had a team that really did not like their scrum master. Now, when I say they really did not like their scrum master, they didn't really involve their scrum master, and it was the product owner and the developers. Because really, the scrum master for them was just setting up meetings, and they said to themselves, we can set up our own meetings. We don't need you for that. We need you for other elements that are important. And so it's one of those things where years ago, maybe 2, 3 years ago, I said to people on this show, there's an AI Scrum Master that exists that takes notes and takes notes better than you can, that can actually set up meetings, right? And do many of the routine things that Scrum Masters do. And the question that I would say, and the reason why I think a lot of people in the industry are really being caught off guard, I really do believe is because Patrick, I think that the truth is they they haven't prepared themselves for this. ChatGPT, I think it came out 2021, 2022, right? And there's a lot of Scrum Masters out here that can't write a simple prompt. They can't write a simple prompt, like legitimately, right? And so what I'll say to you, Patrick, and I'll ask everybody here, right? My question is, why are there so many Scrum Masters that are arrogant enough to think Scrum is the only solution, that the only thing that they really need to know, and that right there is the catch-all, right? It's kind of like it's interesting because when I think about it, right, I say to myself, if Scrum is designed to unleash a team's potential, then why are so many teams underperforming, right? If you're a servant leader, why do you feel powerless to change the game in your organization? If there is a wave that is happening right now that you see is happening, why aren't you doing the things to put yourself in the best position to ride that wave? I remember when Scrum became a wave, right? I was in there on that wave, right? And it was cool 20 years ago. I mean, I'm 20 years into the CSM at this point, right? It was cool just to have a CSM and people chase you down, right? That was a cool thing 20 years ago. But that's 20 years ago. You understand? There are scrum masters out here who, if I compare myself to them 20 years ago, they wouldn't compare to me. And I'm talking about me not knowing much of anything. Um, you know and Patrick, you know many of scrum masters who haven't trained themselves at all, who haven't done any learning, who when it comes to recertifying anything, they got to struggle to get all the things in at the last minute, and half of it's fake. You know many of people that do that, right? And it's just like it's one of those things where um they forget how important it is to see that you need to adapt. Because at the end of the day, what we're talking about, what we do as Scrum Masters is we adapt. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. We adapt, right? And so, yeah, I like your comment here, right? They forget the main element of agile, which is to learn and adapt continuously. They get ahead of the learning curve on new technologies and tools. They should get ahead, right? And the statement is, it's not just about the tools. It's not just about the technologies. How many Scrum Masters out here do you know that in the past year have really used their critical thinking? because the tool gets you so far. But what are you going to do with that information? Are you having a critical eye on some of this stuff so then you can make the best or help teams make the best decisions? You know, I remember in what year was that? In 2011, 2012, working with a scrum master that I met 4 or 5 years prior who had not learned a new thing at all related to the craft, right? And so the question that I would ask, which is really interesting for me, is I'm trying to be nice here, right? I don't need to be nice, but I'm trying to be a little nice here, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, right? Um, there's no way for me to say this, right? Nicer, right? Um, I don't think that the industry needs more certified, and I put certified in quotes because I'm not talking about a specific certification. Hear what I'm saying? I'm not talking about a specific certification, but I don't think the industry needs more certified Scrum Masters. I think the industry needs masters of the craft who can thrive in today's chaotic environments. See, I really do fundamentally believe, but I've always believed this, which is kind of crazy. Scrum alone won't fix the modern workplace. Look, hey D, how you doing, D? I just I've never thought that Scrum alone was going to solve the problem, right? I've never thought that, right? I don't have a Scrum guide around me. I definitely would grab a Scrum guide real quick because even a Scrum guide says that it's great to be paired up with other things, right? Even a Scrum guide says that, right? Scrum alone doesn't tell you how with much of anything, right? And so, it's See, a scrum master who knows how to take this craft and wield this craft like a weapon, who makes sure they tackle the toughest problems that exist out here. They make sure to get the skill, they have the confidence, the strategic influence. That is what we need, right? We don't just need another certified person, right? And people are forgetting that the certification can put your foot in the door, but it don't change the reputation that you build from that point moving forward, right? And so the real question is, um, you a lot of us have become scrum masters that don't know how to ride this change curve, and we supposed to be change agents, right? They really don't know how to help the team deliver value, to lead with purpose, and to prove you can make agile more than just about the buzzwords. That's what people tend to be forgetting. I don't know why they're forgetting it because in essence it's interesting because it's almost like we've gone through these certifications and everybody's getting certified from all over the place, but nobody got anything to put in the boot. You know, um, yeah, it's just a tough deal, right? It's just a tough deal. Too much reliance on the steps of the framework, right? Yes, I agree with that. Rather than applying the lessons learned from what they experienced. I mean, it's crazy because it's one of those things. I like your statement here, Patrick. I really do. Be flexible in your approach and make common sense decisions in delivering value. Absolutely. You know, it's like a lot of us, empiricism, you know. I'm trying to remember the word. Um, I don't always remember all the words, right? I was writing something the other day and I kind of came across in the idea of empiricism, and I've gone down a path of actually learning a little more about empiricism, right? Because empiricism is more of a philosophy. I mean, if you go way back in the day, it's more of a philosophy, right? And the essence of Scrum, for anybody who has truly listened or paid attention in their certification, the essence of Scrum is around empiricism. That's what it's around, probably more than anything else, right? It is one of the key elements of Scrum, period. No ifs, ands, or buts to that, right? And so it's kind of one of those things where for me, um, I think about the word itself, right? Because empiricism comes from like an ancient Greek word like imperia, something like that, right? Which really means experience. So empiricism comes from the Greek word that is focused on in experience, right? And that's the key. It's focused on the word of experience, right? And so empiricism is really a theory that all knowledge originates from experience, right? Our sight, our hearing, our touch, these things we take them and we reason upon these things, right? It's very different than learning prior to experience, right? It's very different, and I would agree that there's an element of both, but within Scrum, our major thing is to learn from experience. And the question I'd ask at this point, you Scrum Masters out here that's not going out here to get it done, right? Here's my question, right? Have some of you not learned from experience that you need to change just as much as your team needs to change? Like maybe the reason why your team isn't changing a whole lot is because they're following your lead. I mean, I'm not trying to take anybody to court right now. That's not what I'm trying to do at all, right? But it hurts my heart because the question that I wonder deep down within me, right, is and again, and I think you can ask yourself this question. Am I really mastering this framework or just surviving in it? Am I really mastering this framework or just surviving in it? Right? You know, right. You know, hmm, I don't know. And for me, it's always been I want to master it. I want to master it. That's what I want to do. Um, and it kind of, you know, it's like I hate to bring up things that I think right? It goes back to Shuhari. It goes back to Shuhari, um, which is really about stages of learning and mastery. That's all it really is, right? And I'm not here to teach you Shuhari, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go learn it. Then go learn it. Go learn it. If this is the prize that I just brought up to you, and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, go learn it. Go learn it. You understand? Because it's about protecting the form. It's about breaking the form. It's about transcending the form being Scrum. You understand the statement, right? Am I am I speaking a different language? I know I'm not. I speak English like most of you do, right? It's like I don't get it. I don't get it. And I agree with you, Patrick. Once again, the certificate basically just says you understood the basics. That's all it is. It's a 2-day ticket to you understanding the basics. That's it. It's not anything more than that, right? That you understand the framework as it exists and how to apply it. But as Patrick said, it's not the magic wand, right? It's not. It's not. It's not the magic wand. right? It really isn't, right? It just isn't. I wish I could say that it is, but it isn't, right? I love that I just got that from Patrick, right? The Shu Ha Re, right? The Shu Ha Re, thanks, right? The Shu Ha Re. Let me throw that out there again. Let me throw this out here, right? I love it, right? I love it. So it's just one of those things, man. I absolutely love it. So it's just one of those things, right? And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Shu Hari, just go look it up, right? Just go look it up, right? Don't believe me. Don't just believe me. Go look it up because I'm in this thing to master it, y'all. I really am. I'm in this thing to master it. But I've always been in this thing to master it. I've always been in this thing to master it. For real. Every day I have a class, I find something to get better at. I don't always make it better, but I find something to get better at. I have a whole list of things that I need to do to make myself better, right? Do I think that when it comes to Scrum, I'm unapproachable? No, I don't. I don't know if I ever think that. I don't know if I ever think that, right? Because at the end of the day, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to master it, right? I've been trying to master it since I've known about it, since I've been involved with it. That's just been me, right? But the real question is that you? Is that you, right? It's just like right now, I know Patrick knows this thing. He knows this thing very well. But there are some people that's right here on this live right now, who don't have Patrick's experience and they're not asking any questions. You're not taking advantage of the opportunity that's sitting right in front of you. You know? I mean, seriously, this is knowledge that people would pay for, should pay for, right? But you getting it for free and you're not taking advantage of it. So some of you all here, if I mention Shuha read to you, you may know what we're talking about, but then there's some of you that won't. Some of you that won't. And that right there, if you are Bearded Eagle alumni, I expect you to go beyond the class. If you are atypical alumni, beyond the class. If you was trained by me, beyond the class. You know? I could be crazy. I could be crazy. Um, I for some strange reason I don't think I am crazy, but I could be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I really could be. Um, you know. So what other questions do you all have out there? What other questions do you all have? But this is, and Patrick, tell me if I'm wrong in terms of thinking of this. This is the reason why I think I need to create a program. This is the reason why I feel a need in this community to create a program that's going to really position people to make sure that they remain in demand. In demand. I should have called it the in demand Scrum Master. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? I mean, am I wrong for thinking about this? I don't know, man. I don't know. Get 10, 20, 30 people in a room and let's meet every single week and go through some stuff. Making sure that you are preparing yourself to be dangerous, right? Making sure, right? There you go. You definitely grabbed that off the internet there because you didn't type out them Japanese terms, that's for sure. Patrick, if you type them Japanese terms in there, Patrick, if you was able to figure out them Japanese terms, Patrick, you the man, dog. You the man. You the man. But you the man. You the man. Like, yeah, no, I know I'm right, because them Japanese terms, man, like what you just them characters, you'd have to go find them characters, and how would you how would you know that without, I mean, Patrick, you could know Japanese. You could know something, right? You could know how to speak the language, right? You could be able to go there and talk with the locals and be all over it all day. That could be you. It definitely ain't me. It definitely ain't me. You understand? And so it's one of those things where it's like, look at that search you just did, right? There's some people out here that didn't know exactly what Shuhari is and didn't even go look, man. Didn't even go look, man. Didn't even go look, man. You know, that's crazy, right? Oh no, I'm not. Hey man, I only know English. Yeah. So you, Courtney, you like that? The in demand. In demand sounds awesome. I like it too. But yeah, I'm really thinking about in demand. Like I'm for real. In demand. Um, I just feel like there's a contingent of people that need to be in a cohort, and I think I need to just go ahead and just spring it out, right? This past couple of weeks, I've written a Scrum companion, a Scrum guide companion, and I was going to next start working on an evidence-based Scrum um, document or something. Create a class related to evidence-based Scrum. Create a class related to, it's kind of crazy because I have like four, five, I may have close to 600 questions related to the certified Scrum Master, related to any Scrum Master class, whether it's the professional Scrum Studies one. I probably have upwards of 500, 600 questions written out, just put somewhere, just written out, put somewhere, right? And I'm just like, want to give that, to all the CSMs that I've had, and give it to any new people who are trying to become CSMs and just find a place for them to be able to utilize that to actually practice tests, right? Even though I expect them to pass the test just based on the knowledge that I give them, right? But that in-demand thing is is I think where it's at, you know, because that right there is the thick of the problem, is the thick of the problem, like legitimately, you know. So yeah, so it's just crazy, right? Yeah, so there we go. So Patrick comes out there with some more stuff. First learn, then detach, then finally transcend. Protect, obey. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I'm with it. The heuristic I'm good with, right? So we're on the same page. But I'm feeling you. I gotta show this again. I'm feeling you, Courtney. In demand, in demand. Right? You know, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm really thinking about that. I'm thinking about in 30 days, I'm gonna have the in demand cohort, right? It'll cost something, but I think it would be well worth the money, right? It'll cost something, but I think it'll be well worth the money. Um, and I'm going to offer it to people who come to the show and people who have been alumni of who have been who have trained with me at some point, right? Um, but I'm looking at it as being something that goes into potentially next year, right? So 3 months maybe, so 90 days to 180 days, right? You have to do a lot of reading. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, Patrick. I jumped on Python like unfortunately I'm doing dissertation work. I literally jumped on Python so I can start doing so I can build me some AI agents, right? Literally. I was gonna bring that topic up to the show. I got a topic I want to talk about on the show that's related to AI agents, but I'm saving that topic, right? We're gonna say that a little bit because I want to do some coding. I actually cannot do the coding because I'm writing a dissertation. That's my problem right now. I can't do the fun stuff I want to do, right? So in demand, okay, Courtney, I'm glad you would sign up. Courtney, hopefully you're in my email list. If you aren't, Courtney, you should send me an email at team@devonmorris.com. Team@devonmorris.com. TEAM at Devon, DEVONMORRIS.com. Right. So I'm gonna say it to you. Send me an email if you're interested. I will let you know. I will let you know, right? So very serious, right? I'm not joking, right? I'm really not joking because I'm like, I just I just need the people that associated with me to be way more dangerous. That's it. I just need to be way more dangerous. I just really do, right? Um, yeah, I just do. It's crazy, but I just do. I need it to be that way. We'll get there. We're gonna get there. But yeah, I may have I literally, I kid you not, I may have a August, it may happen in August show, beginning August. Yeah. I've been thinking about it, right? I've been thinking about it seriously because I think it's time, you know. And again, there's so many thoughts I have. Um, I can't even get them all out on paper, right? I'm gonna have to get me some help. I got to get help, right? Literally, right? Yeah, have the passion to learn new things and be fearless to experiment with what you learn. And that's one of the things that I have a passion to learn. You know what, man? If I didn't, man, I would not be in no PhD program if I had no passion to learn. It's crazy. But you know how much, I mean, I've learned so much stuff, y'all. It's ridiculous. It is really unfair how much stuff I learned. Like I've become way more dangerous. And so I'm thinking between that being in demand, evidence-based, making sure you have the old school foundation as well so and then you can really be super dangerous. That right there just feels like the super sweet spot, right? Feels like the super sweet spot for me, right? Definitely feels that way. So yeah, so it's gonna be a thing. It's definitely gonna be a thing. And again, likely you will have to put in an application for it though, because everybody's not coming in, like legitimately. Yeah, I think the demand for it is gonna be pretty high, so there'll be an application. We'll have to have a conversation so I can make sure you're where you're at and you're not trying to bamboozle me on this one, right? Because I need you to come in like you really want to be ready to make some things happen, right? And if it's not that time in your life, then I understand. I get it, right? But I'm about to just make it happen. So it just is what it is, right? So looks like we at the point now when we can start to wrap this thing up. So any last thoughts from you all? Any last thoughts about anything from you all before we wrap this thing up? Can y'all believe that we are halfway through this year? Gosh, like wow, like it's blowing my mind that we halfway done with this year. Like it to me, right? Like literally. Like I'm just like, gosh, it's July for real? Wow, 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 is what I'm thinking to myself, right? So I'm like, oh, right? Elevate your Scrum skills. I agree with that. I agree with that, Patrick. Elevate your Scrum skills. Please do. You ain't got to. If you don't, I'm gonna eat your lunch. Or at least I'm gonna train the people that I work with to eat your lunch. Because I want my people to come in prepared. It's like the best way I can say it is if you don't prepare yourself, I'm cool with that because the people that I prepare in this cohort, they're gonna replace you. Ain't no shame in my game. It ain't my the best way I can say it to you is it ain't my fault that you didn't do what you were supposed to do when you needed to do what you were supposed to do. It ain't my fault. Did I do that? So I'm just saying, I'm not tripping. But yeah, yeah, yeah. No, mine. I'm gonna prepare. I'm gonna prepare. I'm prepared for them to go make it happen. Right. Yep. Yep. Tell me about it. It appears to be moving too fast. Yeah, man. This is going, man. It is going, 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 and it could be because I'm 50. Could be. Yeah, no problem, Courtney. I got you. I'll keep you in the loop. I'll let you know that I got the email, and then I'll keep you in the loop. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, so it just we doing hey man, look man, let me tell you something. I'm over here. passing out miracles. Let me know if you want one. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I'm over here passing out miracles. Do you want one? That is so stupid. Hey, y'all, I'm really not arrogant like that, but it sounded so good to me. It really did. Oh boy, that is some crazy stuff, man. It really is crazy. All right, y'all. You know what? I really do appreciate y'all. I appreciate everything about y'all. We're gonna do this a couple weeks from now once again. I'll go ahead and set it up this week, so we are on a good topic. Let me know some of the things you'd love to talk about. That'd be great. And we're gonna keep this train rolling as we normally do, right? Uh, uh, y'all may. Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's an amazing thing to mention, right? Prayers to the people in Texas who have gone through those floods, right? Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of places that's in states like Texas that don't have the infrastructure to be able to deal with floods, but who does have the infrastructure to deal with, you know, 10, 20, 100 times more rain than you ever got in a day? Right? Who can deal with that, right? So yeah, and those 20 kids that got lost and all those kind of things. I'm not sure if they found them because I don't really watch much news, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Pass out everything you can, for those that are around the planet, because Texas is not the only place that is having trouble, right? On that note, yeah, I really appreciate y'all for joining me as usual. If you have any questions, I just gave you my email, team@devonmorris.com. That's going to change because Atypical is coming. Atypical is coming. I'm working on it, working on it, working on it, working on it. So know it's coming. But on that note, y'all enjoy the rest of your week. If you need me for anything, you know how to reach out. I'm around. I'm going to continue being around, and we're going to make this thing grow together. So y'all have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.